sometimes when we talk about Biden, like, will he run for re-election? What I actually think has happened is he's going to forget that he was told he wasn't. So he's going to announce that he is. And they're not going to have to be
he said that he was going to.
He's going to forget that he's president. And there's going to be like, remember when he announced he was running for the Senate while he was running for president?
Yes. Yeah. And hasn't he called Jill Biden or his wife the president at one point?
Kamala Harris,
several times.
He kept calling her the president
several times, and he introduced his sister as his wife.
Yeah.
But the dude's got to be on some kind of pills. Like, I bet they're giving him all this crazy IV therapy stuff. They're putting him in hyperbaric like regeneration chambers. They're like, we must. But what's going to happen is come 2024, he's going to be like, what am I doing? And they're like, you're retired. He's like, oh. And then they're going to walk out Pete Buttigieg or Newsom and be like, come on, get in there.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then they're going to, yeah.
Or AOC.
Yeah, I hope so.
I really hope it's AOC.
She is so dumb, though, you guys. I mean,
maybe ignorant.
Libby's letting us in on a secret.
Still learning.
I don't think that she's ignorant. I think she's just not that bright.
Really?
Yeah.
She strikes me as intelligent.
Every time she speaks about things.
She strikes you as intelligent?
Have you ever watched her?
She puts her glasses on and she sits up straight. Like, it's good. Like, it's a good move.
Maybe she's just maybe it's more charisma than intelligence.
She's got moxie.
Spunk. Yeah,
she's so new. I mean, she says stuff that isn't true. Like,
that's right.
So that's more ignorance. Like, if she doesn't know stuff.
That's stupid.
It is. I think, was it Seamus who said it was a total Chad move when she went on Colbert and just made up stuff about the Civil War?
It was crazy.
I mean, that's ballsy. So the thing about AOC is that I kind of view her similarly to Trump in that it would be like chaotic for the deep state. And I'm down for that. It's not my preferred candidate. But if it was AOC versus Trump, I'm kind of like, whoever wins, the bureaucratic state is going to be crying into their pillow tonight.
Who do you think would win?
I think Trump would win.
But Trump would win over AOC?
I do think AOC is the Democrats' best choice, like their best bet. She's got name recognition. She's young. She's got 13 million followers. Not the most prominent, particularly prominent, but Gavin Newsom, he's like plastic. He's generic.
Well, and it's the things they've been saying they don't want. He's just like an established white kind of. He's younger than also, let's say Bernie Sanders. But
one thing he definitely has against him is a lot of data to back up why he sucks. Mm-hmm. His schools are failing. His state is failing. He's an abortion sanctuary state.
Mm-hmm. He constantly brings back COVID regulations.
He's an immigrant. It's
From
like
where?
an illegal immigrant sanctuary state, right?
He's an immigrant.
No, yeah, I did, but that's because I left out words in the middle.
I understand where you're headed.
He violated all his own COVID restrictions. Remember those? Like, no one's going to forget those dinners at French Laundry. Yeah. Come on, guy.
Not wearing
really?
Masks.
Not wearing masks.
But
partying with his friends.
I think if AOC were to get elected, her whole thing is like attention, social media, saying whatever. It would be pandemonium, just insanity in the White House. They would be coming to her being like, President Ocasio-Cortez, here's the documents on the latest problem that's happening in Afghanistan. And then she's going to say something totally unrelated or relevant. She's going to be like, when we went into Afghanistan in 2005 in Desert Storm the first time, you had Saddam Hussein who was working with ISIS. And, that's why I don't think it's a good idea. And they're going to be like, she's just saying random things related to the Middle East conflict,
either that or she'll just be like, we can't go to war with that country because that would be racist.
Wait, I'll take it. It's like, no more troops in the Middle East because President AOC says it's settler colonialism. I'll be like, okay, all right. Like, no foreign incursions. I don't care the reason. I mean, I am kind of worried about that at the federal level.
And then
become weirdly isolationist because she's like, no, we just have to leave everyone else alone.
And then the first gentleman will be a guy with a page on FootWiki, right? Like
the redhead dude?
Yeah.
Why, he does?
Well, I don't know for sure, but remember they were going after his feet when he wore sandals when they went to Florida to flout COVID restrictions and have a good time.
Wicked.
And her response to that was, you just want to date me? That was like her weird clapback. Yeah,
that was her whole thing. And it was all like, and her boyfriend was sitting there with gross feet.
I'm just imagining she's like sitting down with Kim Jong-un and he's like, Kim Jong-un says something about we have to negotiate terms if I'm going to stop these nuclear tests. And she goes, stop trying to date me, sir. Right. And then he's just like, what do I say? It's almost as crazy as Trump. They're like, the Americans have put a crazy person in the White House again. Yeah, we don't know what she wants.
But they can't. Now we zag the other way with crazy. Like, it's a different kind of crazy. Right. They can't figure that one out either.
I mean, that is kind of funny. It's like Trump is aggressive, arrogant kind of crazy. And she's like woman kind of crazy.
Also arrogant, kind of crazy.
But like the "you want to date me" line, it's like Trump would never say something like that. Like I don't think a dude would be like, Kim Jong-un was trying to date me. Like he wouldn't say
I also
it.
think she knows like it's a very awkward thing for most men to respond to. Like they can say no, but also like, why are you making this about romance? Like we're professional rivals. Like we're in politics. Like why are you bringing this up? Like it's very strange.
Women can make everything about romance.
He said that.
That's
He
a
said
weird
that
power.
girls wanted him to grab them by their genitals at one
hoo-hoos.
point. Yeah, that was a
That
little bit
wasn't
of like,
romantic though.
well, for guys it is.
Different.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, I mean it's a type of romance you could
He
say.
only said that because he never heard about
No,
that
that's
dentitis
that's eros.
Yeah, it's erotic.
Uh-huh.
Erotic as hell.
Mr.
It's-
Eight Types
It's
of
love, you know. It's love. That's Trump.
Lust.
I would love to see Cortez over Trump because of the youth. It's the youth.
Trump?
Over Trump. I can't take 80-year-olds in office anymore, man.
I
try not to be ageist, but
it is really frustrating to see our parents' my parents' generation just refuse to give up power. You know, they're just sitting there on piles of cash and piles of power, and they refuse to clear the way for somebody new.
It's their fault.
It's and all of the mess is their fault. And it's like, you know, we definitely need new people in Washington. This is one thing I like about DeSantis. Like he's young. He's like, you know, isn't he Gen X basically?
I don't know
Yeah.
how old he is.
I think he's.
I think he's like 45.
He's like low end.
He's like, let's say at most 50. He's got young children. He has
He's
a
not.
young
He's
wife.
in his 40s.
Yeah, he's like
He's
40.
in his 40s. I said at most, like top end of the scale. He's got
Oh
young
my gosh,
children.
he's
Like
43. He's my
See,
age.
there we
She's
go.
43?
Yeah.
44?
44.
He's a really young guy,
The same. He's like a
He's
year
the
older than me.
same age as Ian.
That's awesome.
Wow.
right? So let's go
get it, Ronnie.
DeSantis over AOC if we could.
Well, I'd like to see the debate. I'll be honest. That's something jury's out for me on that, but I
Yeah.
would love
Okay,
to see
hold
those
on.
guys debate.
A Trump AOC debate would be the funniest show I've ever seen.
good.
How-
And they'd keep
It would
doing
be
them too.
amazing. Excuse me, young lady. No. Crazy AOC. And then she'd be like, Trump just likes me. He thinks I'm hot. It would just be the weirdest
what, though?
TV show
Like-
and you
ever.
just go boo.
Stephen Fry should be the moderator of that debate.
Can we
That
really?
would be really
I
funny.
Can we
like
make that happen? Can
think
I?
so.
I want to reach out to AOC's people. Like, would you do a
Put it
sit
on your
down
vision
with Donald
board.
Trump?
Yeah, even if
I'm
they're
gonna
not
make
running.
a vision board of Trump debating AOC, and then we're gonna try and make it
Just
happen.
wish it into reality.
Several years ago, I saw something on Twitter that was like, after Trump is done with politics, like he should just, like when the next presidential debates happen, he should just live stream him commenting on them because it's probably more interesting. Because like watching him debate is so
man,
bizarre.
magic.
Like I there's nothing that compares to it really.
We're-
Bring
we're-
AOC into it, like.
We're sitting here talking about like how funny it would be for AOC to like debate or have like a show, like be on a show with Trump, and then I'm imagining how it would backfire and sort of backfire on us in that they end up agreeing on tons of populist positions, and then
Right.
like Trump runs with AOC as VP. He's like,
Wow.
we're gonna win everyone. She was like, I was wrong about this, man. We're gonna get the union working class manufacturing back. It'll never happen because it's not really the case, but I'm
It
gonna.
would be nice to get manufacturing back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was happening under Trump.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I will say with certainty, I believe Donald Trump would absolutely do a sit down with AOC, 100%.
Probably.
But I don't think
the
AOC would do
ratings
it.
would be great.
And
And he
AOC
loves ratings, you know?
Yeah,
I don't
she
think
got
AOC
nothing to lose.
She wouldn't do it.
That'd be a good combo. They don't even have to agree or disagree. They just
You
talk
don't
about
think
ideas.
you don't think she'd do it?
I don't think so.
I don't think.
I think we
know
should.
why
I think
she
we should
wouldn't.
reach out.
There's only one way for us to find out. Tim has to reach out. I expect
Yeah.
you to be on Twitter tonight, coordinating this for us.
you know, we've got some of Trump's like inner circle's been on the show,
Yeah.
so we'll ask him because they've told us like, you know, we could arrange a sit down with Donald Trump, but it means we have to go to him, and it certainly would not be a 2.5 hour show. But that's, you know, I was saying like we'll have Trump on as long as he wants to be on. It would be an honor and a privilege. And then just whenever he's done, we can shake his hand and say thanks for coming, and then, you know, carry on with the show like we do normally. We had Joe Rogan on the
When
show.
Joe Rogan
He was-
did it.
Yeah, for like an hour. He was on longer than I thought he was going to. He said he could pop in for a few minutes. He hung out for like an hour. I'd be totally down. I mean, if it's up in New Jersey, I mean, maybe AOC could come down and do it. You know, maybe we do it at a venue or something where it's like kind of, you know, her security can bring her in and make sure she's safe, and Trump's people. I don't know if he'd want to go to a venue though. He'd be like, pull the chairs up to where I'm at. It would be the coolest thing in the world though, to be honest.
would
Bring
be
them
cool.
here. It's a neutral ground. They can all have their security. It'll be
Never gonna
great.
happen.
Yes,
Nah,
but I
Trump's
can
too old.
dream.
He's
Trump's
got
too
that
old.
golf course in New Jersey, doesn't he? Still.
So this is what we were
Let's do it
told is
right near
basically
there.
we'd have to go up to Bedminster
Sure.
to if we were going to do anything with Trump. And then like, is AOC going to drive down there or whatever? It's like, man.
That's not that far.
I mean,
Like,
I'll tell you, I don't think
Just an
AOC
exit on
would
the
do it.
turnpike.
The one person that I know would probably just say yes outright is Vosh. If we hit him up, we were like, would you like to sit down with Donald Trump? He would be like, yes, please. He just, and you know, so I'll give him credit for being willing to do that despite the things we disagree on. I don't think there's very many leftists at all that would actually sit down and have like a calm, reasoned debate and you know.
what's
with Donald
crazy
Trump.
about that is that, I mean, Trump was an anti-war president, right? Like the Democrats for a long time talked about being anti-war. It's clear that they're not, obviously, you know, as they court conflict with China and Russia at the same time, because that's apparently brilliant diplomacy. But yeah, so many of Trump's positions, like, well, mostly just the anti-war one, but that's a classically
Donald
liberal
Trump,
position.
You can criticize him a lot for potty mouth stuff, decorum, whatever, but his foreign policy stuff was the best I have ever seen in my lifetime.
I thought the bilateral agreement thing was smart. And I also, another leftist position of his, or liberal position of his, is to have union manufacturing in the U.S., to keep things local, to keep Americans employed, to keep ourselves self-sufficient. These used to be liberal positions.
Yeah, they used to be. And then Donald Trump ran as a conservative. He supported gay marriage before getting into office. And I think he broke the left because they were like, what do we campaign on now? He went middle of the road. Vox.com in 2015, I think it was 2015 or 16, said Donald Trump's a moderate. He's a moderate candidate. And it was really funny to see that if you go back and look it up. Because I'm like, the media called him worse than Hitler.
Yeah.
Right.
But back then, they were like, he's a moderate.
Look, he was moderate in policy, but extreme in personality. And that was
Yeah.
something they couldn't look past.
Well,
Because
and really, he's
they're-
like sort of a working class hero.
Their decision making is based on emotion. That's simply put. So when Donald Trump gets up there and he goes, you know, like, oh, you know, fat pig, or, you know, only Rosie O'Donnell, they're like, and everyone else is just like, eh. And a lot of people are just like, oh, geez. Okay, but do the right thing with the border. Okay, how about that? That's the thing, too, about Carrie Lake. I think she's even got Biden basically bending the knee onto this policy. Biden is going to be repairing gaps in the border in like Yuma. Yuma. Look, man, that's why I'm like, why haven't they called it for Carrie Lake? Because if even Joe Biden agrees on the policy that the Arizona border is in trouble, that Carrie Lake's like whole thing is like, we got to fix the border, or one of our big things.
Well, Joe Biden just started rebuilding a border wall.
Yeah.
Right. He's building a wall.
But he was like, what was it? Cringe on Pierre was like, it's not Trump's border wall. We're just doing what's necessary. Oh, okay.
But there was
You're building a wall.
There was a Democrat when you saw all the coverage of the Yuma stuff come out. At least that's my experience. It was saying, you know, this was a sector that had previous funding, but Joe Biden repealed it, and now he's going to fix these gaps. And basically, there was one, I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up. A Democratic Arizona, I think, congressman who was like, I just spoke to President Joe Biden about this 2 weeks ago, and we're really going to fix it now. And he is running for re-election right now. Like, it is clear to everyone that the border is out of control.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.